So Tom Lee apologized and admitted that he was wrong about how the stock market reacted post-Liberation Day, but he just came out on CNBC and made a very bold call saying that the stock market has bottomed and right now is one of the best dip buying opportunities that you're ever going to get in your entire life. So I'm going to show you the interview with Tom right now. It's roughly 5 minutes long, and honestly, I usually cut this up for you guys to save time, but everything he's talking about in this interview is critical. And then after Tom's interview, I'm going to break down in a no BS, no clickbait, no fluff way of exactly what we should do with our portfolios right now, based on what Tom thinks, based on what I think, and based on what other people think, because we're all here for one thing. We're all here to make money. I don't care if these videos get views. I care about these videos giving value and helping people make money. Let's dive in.
So, Liberation Day didn't go as you thought, and you apologized publicly for that, which I think a lot of people appreciated. You're always a stand-up person about that. What now? Where are we going?
Well, I think a couple of things that we're thinking about is we know markets have gotten very pessimistic. They've priced in a 60% probability of a recession. And if tariff negotiations de-escalate, then the probability isn't that high. So I think that there's still a big window for markets to have a large rebound, but it's really the path of this de-escalation.
We're in a bear market. I mean, we're in a bear market, right? I mean, it almost doesn't matter, textbook, whether you say we are or not. It's like so many stocks got just absolutely destroyed before this uncertainty happened in the market.
Yes. I mean, if we define a bear market as stocks feel like a grind or you're losing money, I'd say it really started in December because markets were churning even through the February high. But if I was to define a bear market as unleashing a type of financial tightening that leads to a recession, we're not at that criteria yet. But I think it feels like a bear market for the average person.
Are we supposed to buy into that or just stay cautious and on the sidelines, don't do anything, sit on our hands? I don't think people know what to do. And I'm not just talking in the CEO suites because they obviously don't know what to do. How can you? So what is the investor supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's sort of two brains people are fighting. One is the tactical brain, which is, look, they want to know if this is a bottom, and they want to be convinced of it by seeing stocks rally on bad news. But if someone had the investor hat on, and, that's the long-term brain, I have a lot of confidence the U.S. companies are going to navigate through this treachery. Stocks are hugely oversold because you never really lose money buying the VIX at 50. Or when the percentage of stocks above the 200 drops to 15, those are almost guarantees of positive 1-year, 3-year, 5-year returns. So it depends which brain you're wearing today, but I'd say the majority of our clients are trying to be tactical.
I hear views of, well, it's really hard to get uber bearish now because a headline at any moment, as I said in the open here, the market is waiting so hard for some bit of good news that if you're on the wrong side of that, you get a day like you had on Wednesday.
Yes. I mean, if I was to oversimplify the framing of this, U.S. and China have absurd levels of reciprocal tariffs at the moment. And if you believe those are in place, then the global economy is in trouble and you should be bearish. But if this is a matter of who makes the overture first or blinks, but we know it de-escalates, then I think the downside has largely, it comes off dramatically, and I think stocks can actually do really well into the rest of the year.
So you'd be a buyer right now?
Yes, and with the apology that, of course, I didn't think Liberation Day was going to be this draconian, but yes, I would be buying stocks today.
What would you buy?
Well, one of the things we did for our clients last night is to look at what's called Walter Deemer calls sold out stocks, which is worse than oversold. Sold out stocks don't go down because there's a lot of bad news priced in. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stocks that didn't make new lows on Tuesday, April 8th. They made their lows a month ago, and they had lower volume on April 8th. Those are what I'd call washed out stocks. A group that I think's washed out is the Mag 7. So I'd look at Mag 7 as a place to really expect a rebound, including stocks like Tesla.
Okay. You used the word draconian. That was your word. But I'm going to play off of that and say, well, what if we're in a post-draconian period where, because of that, we're left with the rubble of that decision-making in the White House? And the damage has been done. CEOs have no visibility whatsoever. You see this consumer sentiment number today?
Yeah, they're awful.
Do you see where inflation expectations are?
Yeah, they've gone bananas.
Do you see what earnings expectations have done recently?
I mean, there's no ability to make guidance.
So what if the damage is already done now?
That's right. Now, we have to keep in mind this has been 10 days. So it is a shock, a high amplitude shock, but only of 7 days. So someone can restart the patient's heartbeat. I think that the White House is now keenly aware that Main Street can't handle a huge deleveraging because it is going to lead to job loss, and he's listening to CEOs. So I think there's a really big window to repair the bulk of this damage. And at the other side of this, of course, is that we have reciprocal tariffs in place that are acceptable. We have tax policy that's changing and less regulation. So I actually think the 2026 outlook is still quite good.
Which puts are you, so to speak, more reliant on now, a Fed one or a Trump one?
Well, I think there's a call at work and a couple of puts. I think that there is a Fed liquidity put that was in evidence today by the Fed.
When Collins
Yes,
said what she did?
Exactly. And we know the Fed put on rates strikes much lower. The White House has a policy put because we know that you can't brinksmanship the global economy to a halt just to try to get China to blink. And I think that the call is, I think there's a negotiator call, which means I think the White House exercised the Navarro call and replaced him with Bessent.
So one of the best ways to prove that the stock market is potentially cheap right now is to look at the PE ratio. So Tom was talking about the Mag 7 index, which I have the Mag 8 forward PE ratio right here. And it's essentially the same thing with just one extra company, and that corresponds to the pink line right here. And these are all the companies on the bottom that are included in the Mag 8 versus the Mag 7. So you could see the PE ratio was up here around 31, and now it went all the way down to 22 and popped up a little bit back to 24. So things were expensive in this time period right here. As we took this massive stock market dump, the price earnings ratio went way down, and this made things get much cheaper. So he is basically saying that there's peak fear in the market, and everybody sold off their Mag 7 or Mag 8 stocks, whatever you want to call it, and they are cheap and they are compelling right now. At a time that there's peak fear in the market and the time that the VIX is very high, there could be a massive rally in the Mag 8 stocks to go straight up. And the way that we know that there's peak fear in the market is to just go look at the consumer sentiment index. So we're all the way down in this level right here, but look at how many times it touched a level that low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we'll say. 6 times since 1980, which is 45 years. So we're at peak bearishness in a 45-year time period that was only seen just a few times in that whole time frame. We are very close to the bottom of the market, because when we're at the bottom, people are peak fear, the market's going straight down, and people are going to capitulate. I mean, just take a look at the fear greed index. We're at 13 right now, which is meaning that there's extreme fear in the market and everybody is freaking out. So the point that I'm trying to get at is this. Consumer sentiment is essentially at an all-time low. The fear greed index is extremely fearful right now. And Warren Buffett's #1 quote is to be greedy when other people are fearful at a time that the market is cheap, things are dipping, and there's just peak fear in the market. This is a time to be bullish. Now, I am not saying that this is the perfect bottom of the stock market right now. I am just saying that things are starting to get compelling and I'm slowly adding risk. And you guys know this is one of my favorite charts to know when I should deploy capital or not with stock options. So at a time like this, the market is a little bit overvalued because the S&P 500 is well above the earnings growth line right here. And times like this in 2022, the market is undervalued because the S&P 500 is below the earnings growth line. Now up here, when the market got disconnected from the earnings growth line, this is not a time to go long on the market, meaning making bullish plays like buying calls and selling puts. But now that the market dipped and we're actually below what the earnings per share is expected to be for the S&P 500, things are in the cheap category. So I am buying calls in this time period right here. I am selling puts in this time period right here. And I am adding shares in this time period right here. This is a time to start to get bullish, but also keep in mind that look at how much lower the market fell right here versus what the earnings growth was. And right here, we're pretty much at the line. So we could fall to maybe this level right here, go to the left. That's a $4,400 S&P 500, which does indicate roughly 10 to 15% lower from these levels right now. But even if we go 10 to 15% lower from these levels right now, imagine how big that rally is going to be if we go up to all-time highs and we go to the left, 6,200. So that is a massive run in the S&P 500. So I'm building the base of my portfolio in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, 40% in each. Then I'm doing 20% in individual companies that are trading below intrinsic value. And then I'm doing stock options on ultra high confidence plays. I don't just go do stock option plays to do stock option plays. You only want to do this when things are ultra compelling. And of course, if you don't feel comfortable valuing the stock market, actually understanding what to look at and what actually moves the needle in a low risk way, click the link below, do my course. It's going to totally change your life how to do stocks and options. But if you don't want to do that, watch this video right here. It's the 10 critical things that you have to do in 2025 to scale to millions of dollars. I'll see you guys there.